Hello, everyone. All right, welcome to another AlphaNooner. We've got a new intro going on, but we've got an old guest we've had on before. Very happy to have on again. Jeff Stevens, thanks so much, CEO of Psyched Wellness. We're excited to sit down and chat a little bit about what you've been seeing in the psychedelics industry, or supplement everything kind of in that world related, as well, of course, get an update on what's been going on with Psyched Wellness. So thanks for making the time.
Hey, thank you. It's always a pleasure to be on the show and support the guys that are supporting us. So thank you very much.
Anytime. All right. Well, so I feel like we reconnected a little bit during Benzinga, which was super fun in Miami. I know it feels like 1,000 years ago. We were talking a little bit in the pre-show how time flies by and all that stuff, but not super far back. But how was the experience? How was it? What was the thing like?
Well, it was great for us this year. We actually had a product to take. So it was a different approach. We, I went down there with a knapsack and 300 bottles, sample size bottles of Calm, which is our Amanita muscaria extract tincture that we use for helping people sleep and relax. So walking around and just, I felt like a politician, pressing hands and kissing babies. It was a lot of talking. I met with tons of people, both investors, MSOs. It was great, and the feedback was incredible. I was there for the whole week, not just the psychedelic portion. So I had the opportunity to speak with people after they tried the sample, get their feedback, and it was great. A really all-around good experience for us.
That's awesome. So yeah, I would say much more beloved, I think, than a politician in general, because you were handing out free stuff of sleeping aid, which people really need coming off a flight and all that stuff. So, but yeah, no, it was super great to have you there and be able to kind of, try some of it, which was great too. What was sort of the feedback that you got? Was it sort of people I don't know, what was sort of the feedback like?
Well, there was a few people that, Amanita is starting to have its renaissance here, where people are familiar with it. You're starting to see products in market now. And the majority of the products in the market are illegal. They're in that gray market. So the mushroom itself is the red and white mushroom cap. I always bring a little prop. So it looks, the red and white mushroom on your emoji, or Alice in Wonderland, Super Mario Brothers. It's everywhere right now. The mushroom is legal. However, to make a product for human consumption is not legal unless you do the work that we've done. So, just to refresh your listeners, we spent 2 years doing preclinical studies, all the safety studies, toxicology studies that allowed us to position ourselves to get the GRAS approval, so generally regarded as safe, which is an FDA path to market for food supplements. So we have a legal extract for human consumption. Our product, as I mentioned, Calm, is in the market. And so for us, it was really great to be able to, hand this out. People have the opportunity to try it, feel it. If they weren't familiar with it, say, wow, so a mushroom that has psychedelic compounds is a food supplement. This is incredible. Let's see how it works. And, the feedback was generally very positive. We've had some great follow-ups from that conference, and hopefully we have some announcements to make very shortly about that.
Very cool. Were there any surprises sort of around? I feel like because if you're at a psychedelic or even a cannabis, conference, people might think that you're handing out effectively like LSD in a bottle or something that's going to, really trip you out or be kind of crazy. Did you have to kind of explain to people what it is, what it does?
Yeah, that's a great point. And, I think there's the first movers into this market, especially in the black market, are the people looking for the rec side. They're trying to find a legal loophole to get a product similar to, psilocybin mushrooms in the market. The active compound that we work with from Amanita is called muscimol. It's very different than psilocybin. Ours is, again, it's a supplement. It's a low dosage form that's going to help promote feelings of rest and relaxation. Anecdotally, people say they're sleeping really well. They're sleeping longer. Some of our consumers are wearing the Aura ring, and they're finding that they're actually in an REM sleep, a deep sleep, longer. And we think that's why when you wake up after using Amanita, you feel refreshed and recharged. You don't have that grogginess or hangover that you might experience with, say, melatonin or CBD if you've tried those in the past. So, I think it's pretty exciting that way. But for us, we're focused on the sleep category and how we can help people with stress and anxiety and sleep-related issues, because the whole world suffers from that. Now, there's a small segment of society who wants to have a trip experience and go that route, but they're not doing it every day. Maybe once a month, twice a month, depending how young they are or how active they are. So for us, the category where we see the greatest opportunity is in a supplement that's going to help people with their daily lives, improve the quality of their life, and they're going to use it daily. as an aid to help them do that. So that's really where we focused. And when we explain to people why we're in that, in that lane versus the other, they very quickly understand the opportunity is far greater.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, yeah, everybody sleeps. It's so important. Everyone is familiar with that and understands that sleeping, eating, drinking water, all those key things. And yeah, you're right. I think some people who maybe suffer with like PTSD or eating disorders or more complicated things might need that other experience that they can find. And, we heard from a lot of people at Benzinga who kind of offer that thing, but, might also be helped by just having a constant sleep schedule as well, which is fantastic. Do you want to talk a little bit about, I don't know, any differences between, because while we were there, again, seeing a lot of different companies, a lot of different lanes of psychedelics and tools for people to use. Can you talk about the differences between maybe something that's closer to like a medical offering experience versus, what you guys are doing with supplements in terms of how easy that process is, sort of the opportunities there a little bit more?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm going to tie it into something Benzinga related again. So as I was handing out samples, I ended up speaking with Corey from Healing Maps, the president of Healing Maps. And so recently we announced, had a press release where we're working with Healing Maps. For them, they see an opportunity to offer Calm to their patients, the people that come to their sites, as a pre and a post therapy tool. So again, when you think about it, and it all ties into your question, when you think about the psychedelic sessions that people are taking and they're working with a therapist and they're going into that, you can be experiencing some stress and anxiety and probably having a difficult time sleeping going into it because you're nervous about the process.
Sure.
So his idea was, if we can offer those people Calm prior to going in, they're going to get the sleep. And then as you go in rested and restored, you're able to be open to the tools of the therapy. And then also offering it as a post-therapy recovery. So again, helping people sleep, helping them rest through, and then letting all the work that they've done in that session have the opportunity to do what it's meant to do by having your brain recover. So we were very excited to make that connection, and then again to establish a relationship where it works for Healing Maps. They're on our affiliate program, so anyone that goes through their website, through their traffic and purchases it, they have a financial benefit from it too. So that's how we can see our supplement working with the clinical side. And the neat thing again is, this is our bottle of Calm. It's a 30 ml bottle. It's a tincture, and it's $49.95. Now that's a very affordable price point for people when you're looking at the psychedelic therapy space.
Is that Canadian or USD? Big difference there.
Yeah, we're only selling in the US at this time. So
There
it's
you go.
$49.95 US. We have a 60 ml bottle, and we introduced that on the back of our repeat customers who said, listen, I'm using 2 bottles a month. $100 US is getting kind of pricey. What can you do for us? So we created a 60 ml bottle that sells for $74.95. And what we're finding is our first time purchasers will go with the 30 ml. And then if they follow up, they're going to 60 because they're finding it really works.
That's awesome. Fantastic. Okay. Very cool. And then, so how are you saying that with Healing Maps, that was created at Benzinga or before slightly? How did that sort of come to be?
So we connected there. We had a conversation,
Really? Wow.
shared the samples, and then we followed up, had a call with their team and our team, and said, listen, we could definitely align ourselves with what you're doing because we feel we complement each other. You're looking to help people who are looking for therapy using psychedelics.
Sure.
And we can be a tool that helps them prepare and recover. So
yeah, I think it's great not to see it as either or for different opportunities, but sort of like tools you can use in concert and, be able to have a better experience overall, which is great.
for sure.
All right. Fantastic. Do you want to talk a little bit about the investment side of things? I'm just curious. I feel like, in psychedelics across the board, we've definitely seen, and cannabis as well, it's definitely been volatile. The market's been volatile kind of as a whole as well, starting this year. Can you just talk about, what you might see coming up forward? What do you make of it in general? What sort of your thoughts there?
That's a great question. If I had the crystal ball, for sure, it's you hit the nail on the head. It's changed drastically, since the rush 3 years ago when we started the process and went public, 2.5 years ago. We've been very conscientious of our spend. I think we only ever raised just over $11 million over the 3 years, and we're still working with that. Now, fortunately for us, we're also starting to generate revenue, which helps build the company. We moved from an R&D company about 8 months ago into, a CPG, having a product and generating sales. So the team has done a great job. We've kept it lean. We're 5 people. We outsource our manufacturing. We outsource distribution and work within that so that we can really keep an eye on, the budgetary constraints, because you can never tell in these markets. You can't just, kick the ball and hope that it's there. So everything we've done has been with an approach of, okay, how can we do this? And where do we get to a point that we can be self-sustaining and building towards that? So we've, it likely a little slower start, but by design, because we didn't want to, make 1 million units, put them all out to market, and then try to get the capital in, and you've got terms. And we saw that happen with the cannabis space, where too many SKUs, too many products in market, recalls, whatever you have, breakage. The next thing you know, you're trying to deal with that. And then you're running up against, where's the money come for this? So we've just been very conscientious of it. And I'm proud of the team because, we've worked with a tight budget, but I think we've put out a really bang up product when it comes to both the product, but also the marketing, digital marketing, and everything we're doing on that side. And
that was sort of Oh, sorry. That was sort of my question. I did see some of your guys' TikToks. Very fun, very good stuff. So just curious where, the best dollars are spent. I feel like most people are very focused on the budget, making sure that they get the most bang for their buck in terms of what they're doing. Are you finding that in production, in sort of the promotion component? Where are you sort of finding, the best spend, I guess, or investment, I guess?
Well, listen, my background, I was capital markets. I was institutional sales and trading. I've been on the issuer side for about 8 years now. And so I always look at the public company side from the investor side, from the sales side. So, you're basically running 2 companies. You're running a public company, then you're running an operating company. And, you have to recognize that the 2 exist together, but you have to treat them as 2 different companies, because the reality is they both take special skill sets. So I've been very fortunate. My co-founder, David Shizzle, is the COO. He and I work really, really well, where he handles operations. He's dealing with that. We brought Matt Singh on to lead the sales side and the marketing. And again, we're a lean team. There's 5 of us, but I like to say there's 5 of us working, having fun, and doing the job of 10. Right. So we work hard. We have fun. But the thing is, how do we get $1.50 out of $1? Is how we look at it.
Yep, that totally makes sense. All right, one sec. Seeing a question come in. Also, I didn't say this at the beginning, but of course, same thing as any AlphaNooner. If you guys have any questions, comments, feel free to throw them in. Also, we're throwing one in with a matching mushroom icon, which is great. Love it. Talking about it can also work for more than just anxiety and sleep. Is that true? What are the other things that can work?
We're just scratching the surface.
Okay.
So our challenge is, the market's changed. We have Professor David Nutt on our board. He would love to do human clinical trials, and he thinks that muscimol is where psilocybin was 10 years ago. So muscimol, again, is that main compound in the Amanita mushroom that we work with. Our proprietary extract is called AME-1, where we do a process where we end up with the majority of our extract being muscimol with very little ibotenic acid and muscarine left over. The scientists that reviewed all of our data said there's a nil effect on those leftover compounds. So that's how we're able to get us, the safe dosage range for this. Mm-hmm. We can't make claims. I can't say this is a sleep aid. I can't say this is going to help you with inflammation. This is going to help you with that. But anecdotally, our consumers are telling us that. So if you look at our website or you look at some of our postings, we're sharing that anecdotal experience that our consumers are sharing with us, because they can say how it's worked for them. I can tell you, as the co-founder and CEO, I've been taking this extract since its first raw form. That was an awful mushroom gravy tasting thing. My wife said, "How the hell are you ever going to sell this? Like, who's going to take that before bed?" And
I will say, you got to release a special version around Thanksgiving time for Canadian Thanksgiving or for American Thanksgiving. That is
there, right?
You could do it. Put it on your turkey.
Dessert, so you'll lose some weight because you won't be able to fall asleep.
Fair enough.
But no, listen, I think we did a great job refining it, getting it to a point where it's a lot clearer, cleaner. Taste is nice. It's a little sweeter taste. So, for us, it was really, how do you get the product to a point where people are going to enjoy using it in their daily routine? But when it comes to making those anecdotal experiences, for me, again, as I said, I've been taking it since day one. Last year at this time, I had neoprene knee braces on. I was taking, supplements for joint pain. If I were to go, I went on a ski trip and I was popping, Advils and joint pain and everything. This year I went on a ski trip. I didn't pack the neoprene braces, and Advil was for hangovers. It wasn't for pain.
Oh, no.
So the only thing that's changed in my daily diet has been the inclusion of calm and our extract of amanita. So we know that science suggests it's an anti-inflammatory. For me personally, I feel that that's one of the great side benefits that I've had. Mm-hmm. And I'm also at a point now where I'll take it, once a week when I feel that I'm not falling asleep easily, where I would take it every day initially. And now my body, I sort of understand, I've been able to reset my sleep patterns so that when I lie down, I can actually fall asleep. And then if I lie down and it's taking me a little while, I'm like, oh, I haven't had calm in 5 days, I'll take some. So it's, I think it's something that your body will grow with. But yeah, we hope to do more when the capital markets are there for the sector again. We hope to do some clinical studies and be able to make claims and move towards that, because I think that's where you start to have the legitimacy in the market. We had our first third-party peer-reviewed paper published, which was great, working with the National Research Council of Canada and showing the benefits in the studies that they were working on. So again, all of those peer-reviewed opportunities help to legitimize in the public's eyes, and we're just working towards that in an efficient.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. So you mentioned the capital markets. I do want to talk a little bit more about the investment side in a little bit, just because that's where we're kind of more focused. But I am curious to know, obviously, if you're using it and you're testing along the way, I think sleep is something that has been a problem across the world for a long time. So there are a lot of different ways that people try to have better sleep or try to, relax and calm down ultimately. So how are you getting the message out to have somebody try something, especially that is derived from something that's psychedelic, or, I feel like that's sometimes harder for people to make that leap in there. So are you giving out samples in the same way? Are you just trying to encourage people to try it online? How do you get somebody who's sort of like, I have trouble relaxing or whatever. I've tried some other things and they work. I've never done psychedelics. Obviously I've never, whatever. How do you get that person to say, yeah, I'll give this a try?
That's a big portion of the question we try to solve all the time, right? So how do we get this in front of more eyeballs, and how do we educate people on the benefits of this with the restrictions that we have on social media platforms? Many of them are very restrictive on what you can say, the images you can show. We've learned over the last year what we can and can't say and do, and we've had our Instagram up and down twice. We were on Amazon, then we were off Amazon, we're back on Amazon. So getting those wins and then understanding how to work within the confines of their their algorithms that flag things. So it's interesting. For us though, the trend is our friend. So I think you're seeing society in a post-COVID world where people really are looking for natural solutions for their health and wellness remedies. And functional mushrooms have done a great job. The likes of Paul Stamets in the videos that are on Netflix, and you're starting to see this mainstream media attention coming to it. Advisor shares having an ETF for the sector, like all of that helps to take down those barriers and educate people on the opportunity with it. So we try to ride that. But again, for us, it's, we're focused on the sleep category. We're focused on the stress relief and helping people in that respect. And that's a very crowded space. When you're talking about advertising digitally, that's everything from mattresses, pillows to people wearing, what are those masks?
The Dyson masks that purify your air. Is that the one? Yeah, those are wild.
The sleep masks and stuff. So it's a crowded space, and trying to stay in a lane. And so, we try to answer that question every week. We talk about what can we do differently. We talked earlier about sort of the social media stuff that we're working on. Sam Poger is running that for us, and she's in her 20s. She's young, she's hip, and she's putting out content that that generation is going to gravitate to. And I think we've done a really good job, because everyone from 15 to their deathbed struggles with sleep related issues, whether it's financial related, PTSD related, illness related, stress from school, whatever. We purposely on our own put a 18 plus on the product, just because we felt that was the right thing to do. So we don't advertise to that. But if you look at colleges and universities, those students, they're cramming, they're drinking Red Bulls to stay up to study, and then they need something to turn down, right? So
Yeah.
we're trying to find creative ways of introducing the product to niche categories that would benefit from it, and then ideally word of mouth, where our best salespeople are our consumers, and that's why we put the affiliate program in as well. So if you're telling your friends about this and how it's worked, listen, if they click on your affiliate link, then you passively get some income for spreading the word. So it's a win-win.
There you go. So sort of a word of mouth component, but with an extra benefit, which is great. Okay, very cool. Okay, then tying back just really quickly to sort of the investment side of things, having that background in sort of finance and all of that stuff. Can you talk a little bit about how, because I feel like we've seen this across, again, a lot of categories, psychedelics, cannabis, and beyond, about volatility, talking about, I think that can scare some people at the front, but I think over the long term, I think some diversification can normally help over time. Can you just talk a little bit about sort of the volatility component a little further? If that makes sense.
It's for sure. It's crazy. So, 2.5 years ago, we went public and we had an idea. We're going to work with this mushroom that if you Google says is poisonous.
Oh no.
But we think we can make it safe, and we think we can make a product.
Sure.
The hype in the psychedelic sector at that time was crazy. We had $100 million market cap.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward 2 years later, we've completed all these scientific studies. We've got the safety data. We get the FDA GRAS approval to sell a product in the largest consumer market in the world. The only public company with this GRAS approval for this mushroom. And we have a $10 million market cap. So the volatility is crazy. Does it make sense? Absolutely not. I think a key thing is, when you're looking at companies, how do they steer the ship through the process, right? And if they're knee jerking and they're trying to spend money on promotion to artificially inflate a share price in a market where that isn't going to happen, that's a quick way to become bankrupt, right? You're going to run out of money. You can't fight that trend. So, post COVID, I think during COVID, there was an incredible rush in the markets, and everybody benefited from that. The second summer, I call the second summer of COVID, people were going out of their house more. They were actually going, they're going to their cottage, or they were moving around, and they weren't focused on the stock market. They were, and the AMC and the GameStop, that sort of mania had been removed. So we, at that time, sort of looked at it, and with my institutional sales background, I sort of said, guys, the most important thing we have is capital right now, and we need to protect it. So we stopped all of our IR programs. We stopped everything 2 years ago. And, we've just been doing it in-house. So working with, hey, we actually have a product now. So we're not just press releasing and trying to, get people excited about something. We have a product. Let's work on promoting our product for sales, and then using that in our stock promotion as well. And so doing it all ourselves, with the benefit of actually, trying to promote the product itself. So that has worked well for us, in the sense that we still are relevant. We're still actively promoting and talking about the company and the products, but we haven't been, spending crazy amounts of money with programs trying to get the stock moving. I think the stock will follow. We're in a show me phase. We're sort of 6 to 8 months into having sales now. So we have 3 national distributors. They're starting to get the product seeded. We had our first announcement in brick and mortar. We expect to have more. We're looking at planograms. This is a whole world that Matt Singh is very comfortable in, and he's working on it and getting everything established. We have our next day fulfillment out of Jacksonville with Ship Hero. So everything's set up and ready to go. And now it's just about, keeping our foot on the gas pedal and being able to fulfill the need as it comes through those channels, that foundation that we've built.
Yep. So navigating sort of those rough waters while we're in them. I know everybody's in them kind of at the same time, which is fair, but in doing that well, which makes sense. So I know you, again, don't have the crystal ball, but any insight on what you think might clear up some of the volatility, might kind of get a little bit of less choppy water for everybody across the board?
Well, I think, again, I put my institutional sales hat on, and I look back, and I was, mining was such a big sector for Canada. And for many years in my sales life, mining companies were what we raised money for. And anytime there was a drought like this, it took some M&A to happen to get that market excited again. So typically you saw one of the larger ones acquire one of the smaller companies that had de-risked an asset. And that M&A activity sort of sparked interest in the sector again, and that sort of the rising tide lifts all the ships. I think that we have too many small companies in our sector.
Mm-hmm.
And I was speaking with one of our shareholders, and it's a hedge fund in Toronto. We're speaking about the sector in general, and I said, it's hard, I think, to convince new money to come into a sector when you can't convince the sector that they should be acquiring assets that are now 90% off from their highs. So you've de-risked them, you've got them in trials, you've moved them forward, and there's no consolidation happening in our own sector. So how do you, if you don't think it's worthy, how can you ask outside money to think it's worthy? And I really think it's going to take one of the larger guys that, they're still not as large as they were, but that's the function of the markets. And you can't look at it that way. You just have to look at where you are now. And I think there's an opportunity where you see some of that consolidation happen, and it's going to pique interest in the sector again. And I think that'll be a catalyst for it. All
right. Hope so. All right. Keeping an eye on M&A for sure. Love it. Okay. As we're sort of getting closer to time, I would love to know what's up for the rest of 2023 for the company perspective, and then also what's up for 2023 for you. What's coming up? What's new? I know there's something exciting coming up for you.
Yeah, no, listen, we're very excited. Again, so really great connections that were made at Benzinga that we're following up on that, we hope to have a press release out next week with a group that we're working on gummy formulations with. So, product extensions, and again, trying to do everything in a fiscally responsible way. So rather than us doing the gummies ourselves, we don't have the end buyers. We don't have that. So we're working with a group that already has that in place and selling our extract to them so that they can use that in their formulation, and allowing us to participate in that, and also getting safe product to market. So, we're excited to look at that. I think you're going to see, hopefully, we're working on bringing some more interested groups to the table that can work with us and build this out. And, personally, I'm excited to be in the sector. We're looking forward to the MAPS conference in June in Denver. I think that'll be a great opportunity for us. Again, we'll be there with our bottles of Calm. We'll be selling them there, and we're excited to just sort of get the word out because the product works. And that's the best thing, Mackenzie. I think we mentioned this in Benzinga, sort of, you spend all the time doing the work, you finally get that product and you have to take it, and man, I sure hope it works. And it does. And so when you know that it works and it can help people, it's a lot easier to sell something. And for us, it's really just about educating, getting it out there, get some bigger sort of name wins on the brick and mortar side. Like, I'm so proud to have Amazon, Walmart, Sears.com. So those are all the .com digital ones that are carrying our product now. And now it's about taking that, which legitimizes us in the eyes of the brick and mortar, and then going to those larger brick and mortar opportunities and say, okay, here we are. And we're actively having those conversations and hope to be announcing some wins on that front very soon.
Very cool. Can't wait. We'll be definitely following along. Any places that people should be following along, sort of the story, what you guys are up to? I'm guessing the website is a key one.
The website, Twitter, Instagram. We love feedback. If you have our product, if you have tried our product, please, provide us with your feedback. We love to hear from people, and share the news with your friends, because everybody struggles, and we're happy to help.
Very true. And also, if anyone's at that next conference, keep an eye out for Jeff and his backpack, and he'll probably give you a nice sample.
Yeah,
great.
Exactly.
Keep an eye out. All right. Well, thanks for making the time, Jeff. Really appreciate it. It's always fun to talk, what's going on kind of in the space in general. Really appreciate it. And we'll catch you next time. So thanks so much. Really appreciate it.
That was my pleasure. Thank you for having me.